just like Michelangelo into the blue on heavenly wings. Cargo ham bones don't take off, no smoke, no mirror, no strings. I can't take off these dark shades, I can only say how it's too beautiful. Our town on TV, our town, there's you and me, upside down hanging out of an airplane.
Welcome. We're here today with the Veterans Director, Kristen LaRue.
Hello.
Hi. Nice
Thank you very much for coming, Larry.
You're welcome. Nice to meet you finally.
Very good to meet you too.
You've been in this capacity for how long?
I've actually been in this position for about 10 months now. I was appointed in May, so I have my year anniversary coming up.
Wow.
Which is very exciting. And it's a great job. It's a great community to work in. Very veteran friendly, and it's great. I like it a lot.
And that's why we're here today. Amesbury's done so much for, I think, the veterans and so much to help people who need help.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to come here today so people can meet you and
Great.
Understand more about the services, where to get them, and the time frame.
Definitely. I'd be happy to do that.
But before you do that, and I wanted her to give you the correct title of her position.
Well, there's no real correct title. There's the Director of Veteran Services, and people in my position are often referred to as Veteran Service Officers, or VSOs.
That's per town or per county?
Per town. Every town in the state of Massachusetts has a Veteran Service Officer. They're there to administer various financial benefits, as well as be a point of contact for all veteran-related and non-veteran-related federal and state claims and things such as that.
If you were from another town, you just refer them to that town? If someone
Yes.
came in and
Yes.
just happened to ask you for help?
Yes. The
Okay.
point of having one in every community is just being able to access someone right away that understands the local resources.
Mhm.
So they're really it's beneficial for them to be able to go to their local VSO. However, some communities they don't have a VSO, so they have districts. But that in this area, in Amesbury and in Newburyport, Salisbury, we're lucky enough to have one for each town.
That sounds great. Before we do go further, I just want to say what a great job you did during the veterans ceremony.
Oh, thank
I
you.
have to say that to you because you were excellent.
Well, I had a great deal of help. The veteran service organizations in the area, Bob Smith, and they're all amazing. So it makes it very easy.
No, you're on.
Great. So should I talk about the different programs that are offered in the office? Okay. Well, the main thing is the financial assistance, the Chapter 115 financial benefits that are available to all veterans and their family members should they qualify financially. Anybody who is receiving, couples who are receiving about $2,300 or less should all come in to meet with me. I'll run the numbers, I'll see if they qualify. Of course, individuals who are at or below $1,733 should come and meet with me to see if they qualify. I see a lot of seniors who are just receiving Social Security and their pensions, and quite often I can help them with reimbursing them for out-of-pocket medical expenses. It really helps stretch the dollar, especially in times like this, when you can put money into, your groceries for the month or your gas tank, as opposed to putting it toward your prescriptions and other out-of-pocket medical costs. So it's really nice that we have such a program, and I administer that program. That's my primary function. In addition to that program, I do offer assistance with filing for VA claims, pensions, aid and attendance, widows, pension, compensation claims, appeals. I really do everything right in this office. They can sit down with me. We can fill out the form. We have somebody that represents all of their claims at the Department of Veteran Services in Massachusetts at the JFK building. I work very closely with that individual.
Should they bring anything with them when they come the first time, or should they call first and you can go over
it's always helpful to make an appointment with me, give me a call on the phone. I do a lot of outreach, so if I'm not here, unfortunately, I'm you know, it'd be better for them to contact me beforehand by phone. But a lot of people do just stop in, which is great. And I'm able to, you know, discuss with them what they might need, and if they need their DD-214, that is probably one of the most simple documents that I can retrieve. Quite often I can retrieve it right on my database, and I can print it out. Yes, that's their discharge paper.
I remember.
Yes, very good. Very good. And we can also, if we can't get it in the database, I can order it through the National Archives. That takes a few weeks, but that is really the primary document, because that document proves that you or your family member, that they were or are in fact a veteran, and they are eligible for the services that are in this office. So for the returning veterans, for the OEF, OIF veterans, I work very closely with the Department of Veteran Services, and we have, this is just one of the publications that we have specifically for the returning service member, the Welcome Home Packet, and it goes through just all of the benefits that are available to them. That includes healthcare benefits, educational benefits, the bonus that is very popular, because $1,000 for certain veterans returning, and then $500 for others that serve stateside. So they can come in here. That application can be taken in this office. They do have to go to the town clerk and have it stamped by their town clerk to be verified. I'll look over the application, I'll send it in. It can take as few as 3 days, and they have that money, and that's really helpful because that's money they've earned.
And it's a little bit different nowadays too, but the Army Reserves and National Guards still can qualify.
Definitely, they definitely can.
And should take advantage of this.
Certainly, it's just a matter of looking at their discharge paper. I can look at it. I can tell whether or not they qualify. If there's any question on that, I have a person that I can call at the treasurer's office, and they can give me that answer right away. So it's really nice, rather than not knowing and sending it in and waiting. We'll be able to tell before you even send that paperwork in whether or not you're allowed to have.
And nowadays it's so important with it, like you said, the economy and the changes.
Every little bit helps. It really does.
Every second you save.
Definitely, definitely. There's also discharge issues. Some of the veterans have undesirable discharges that they would like to have upgraded. I can assist with that process. I have all the forms that in my office here. We can look at your situation, appeal to the military, and see what we can do. Many of the discharges have been upgraded. It is a lengthy process, but it's very beneficial for those veterans who don't have the desirable discharges and are not eligible for those benefits to have that general discharge changed to an other than honorable. And
without throwing you a curveball, if there was a promotion or something that wasn't listed or something.
Yes, that's another form, and that's also in the office. There are a lot of information on the DD-214 or discharge documents might not be correct, and it's a very simplified form. You can change a name, a promotion, a medal that might not have been on there, and it's just that's much easier than upgrading an actual discharge. So that's just an administrative process, I guess you could say.
There's still a lot to do, though.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
We're getting your money's worth?
Oh yes, I'd say so. I'd say so. So the educational benefits, that's an important factor. The GI Bill, there's a new GI Bill coming out. It's coming out in August. It is going to make sweeping changes to the GI Bill as we know it. Exactly. So in a great way, it really resembles the World War II GI Bill, which is great. We're going to work very closely with the VA on this new one because we really don't know what it's going to look like until it's actually been implemented. But there's a housing allowance, which will really, really encourage some of these returning service members to get right into school.
Oh, great, yeah.
Which is a great place for them to be right now, especially. There's also employment and vocational assistance in this office. Many of the veterans and their family members come here and they need additional training in addition to their military service. They want to change fields, and we have many resources that are at our disposal to make that possible for them. And some additional benefits are available to service members who have a service-connected disability of 10% or more, and that's very helpful when we can get that going for them. On the healthcare side of things, I always encourage veterans to apply for VA healthcare, even if they have additional health insurance. Many folks have their Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Is that by federal or state?
It's federal, but they can go to their local VA clinic. A lot of people choose to utilize the behavioral clinic in this area. Some people like to go to Portsmouth. It's just, so it's really just a matter of preference. The VA does not force you to choose their insurance over others. You can use their insurance in conjunction with your own. You can use the VA's, what many people, what they like about the VA, what stands out is their prescription benefit. Their prescriptions are mailed directly to your home. Many of the prescriptions you can get to the VA that you can't get through your other doctor. Another thing that you can do is you can have your own doctor write a prescription, call the VA, get the prescription filled at the VA, so you don't even really, it's a very nice situation that you can really utilize the VA in any way that you want. So I always encourage folks to apply. You're not going to have access to the services unless you apply.
So the standard has come up. I mean, not to knock it in World War II or after, if I had older friends or my dad, and the services was good, but it seems now there's more concentration on making it better and updated to today's needs.
Definitely, and they're always moving forward. I mean, it's not a static process. It's consistently moving forward. There are many innovative thinkers, and they're trying to make it better for the veterans and their family members.
And that's an important message for the veterans to understand too.
Definitely, I would say so. Yes, definitely, and we're always working.
We're not forgetting.
Definitely, and feedback is of course important, and veterans are very good about getting out their views and what they we should do to make the system better and more conducive for their situation. So definitely. Let's see what else we have here. Housing. We work very closely with the Housing Authority in the area. Bob Mazzoni works very closely with this office, as well as his staff, who are all great. I work with a lot of veterans who live at the different housing sites in town. I also work very closely with John Radka at Northeast Outreach Center. He does a fabulous job. There is a great deal of money, especially with the stimulus package, directed toward housing. So it's very exciting to see what that's going to look like. We have everybody at the table discussing, the more, the beneficial ways to get this money out there, get it to where it needs to be so veterans can access it.
Housing in this town, right?
We do. We have housing in the town. The Housing Authority, Bob Mazzoni, has a policy that veterans and their widows, when they apply, they move to the very top of the list, which is excellent. That's been very helpful in getting some veterans in housing. Yes, definitely. It's very helpful for veterans to have that benefit, because when they're applying for housing, as many of us know, that there are waiting lists, and those waiting lists are definitely can be to the detriment of people who have to get into housing immediately.
And you're right, and the transition over.
Certainly.
From not just wartime, but the whole transition to go back to civilian life. The more assistance you take advantage of,
definitely,
the smoother the whole process will be for you and your family.
Certainly. Social Security, I also handle Social Security claims in this office. You can apply for Social Security. We can work out the application in here, or we can get you an appointment right away. Appeals, I handle appeals. I also handle food stamp applications in this office. We have a simplified food stamp application for seniors that we can do right in this office. We can send it to the Department of Transitional Assistance in Lawrence, and we'll get them an appointment as soon as possible. There are many services that are available in this office. I only just touched on really just the basics. There's so many others.
Do you see a lot of people from the Iraqi-Afghanistan wars coming here, or are they just a little bit shy about using the process?
I think that with the returning veterans, that there's a tendency for them to kind of, when they get back, they prefer to kind of remain off the grid. I think and rightfully so, they're most likely overwhelmed and trying to focus on getting employed, making sure that their housing situation is back up and running. Many of them have families that they haven't seen in months, and really just want to acclimate back into their normal life before coming into my office or the VA to really address any of those military issues.
So the message really is do what you feel is right, but try to
we're always my door. You know, if I'm not here, just give a call. If I can't get you the answer, I'll find somebody that can. But this is a very relaxed office. It's not necessarily it's not like a VA in that it's not regimented. There are resources everywhere. I have closets full of brochures.
There's no pressure environment.
Oh no, not at all. No, as my former predecessor liked to say, there is no heavy lifting in this office. None whatsoever.
You would say that.
And my fabulous assistant Harry would agree. Harry is also here, who helps me, and he is a Korean War veteran who comes into this office and volunteers his time, and he is a very happy face in this office. People love Harry, as do I. So he's great.
Can I put a small plug in for Bob Smith? Because
certainly.
I talked with him a while back, and he was saying that his organization, if you can describe it better, they're there for assistance too. If there's any moral help that's needed, or
definitely. Bob Smith and the American Legion, VFW, DAV, they all work very closely together to really make these not only the services for veterans, but the events that highlight their service memorable. And it's
and
a
someone
great
share stories with it, so they don't feel they're alone.
Certainly, and they do a great job. So I can't say enough about this community, the veteran community,
I think
especially. It's a great community to work in.
So many people come to bat in their own little field, but
they do.
They're like you're very positive.
They do.
Enthusiastic.
Yes, and, I try to be.
No, you are. It shows with the Veterans Parade. The speech you gave was just blew me away.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you.
A lot of other people too. So it was
thank you.
Right from the heart.
Thank you. And what I usually say to veterans is, before you call the 1-800 number, just give me a call, and I will most likely have another number for you or another direction to go, because it can be very frustrating to call and be put on hold, or to be given different answers by 4 or 5 different people. I think that I can cut through a little bit of that red tape and get them in the direction that they need to go.
Did you want to give out any numbers, or did you have some more?
Sure, I do have some numbers that I would like to give out, and you said that you would type these up and put them on. Okay, great. The main numbers that I'm going to give are for the employment contacts, because that is a very significant issue right now, is employment. And at every Valley Works Career Center, there is a veterans representative that will work specifically with veterans on any employment issues. They will assist them with their resume. They will help them in just about anything related to employment. They're great, and I happen to work very closely with 2 of them. The vet rep in Haverhill, his name is Bryn McLeod, and his number is 978-469-7811, and he's at 192 Merrimack Street. And the gentleman in Lawrence, his name is Eric Nelson, and he's at 439 South Union Street, Building 2 in Lawrence, and it is 978-722-7053. And I encourage anybody who, even if they're very happy in their job, to just pop in, meet them, and they can help you brush up on your resume. Really anything. They're great. They're great guys, and they really know the system well. They're just, I can't say enough about them. I speak to at least one of them, every day. They're great. And any other questions that people have, there are many, many services that are available to veterans and their family members, not just veterans. There are an infinite number of resources available to veterans with service-connected disabilities. Many veterans don't even realize they're veterans, especially we see this a lot with the female veterans. Women veterans of World War II really had no idea that they have access to the same benefits that many of our Vietnam veterans have access to, or our OEF, OIF veterans. It's incredible.
What would the last initial stand for?
Oh, we have Operation Enduring Freedom Operation.
Us people that don't understand.
Sorry, I live by acronyms.
No, you're doing the right thing. I'm just sitting here saying there's probably somebody else
it's
there
a
that
quick
doesn't
way to
understand
get
it.
it's a quick way to get the information out. But yes, acronyms are just that came from the military, and it resides in all aspects. So. Of this job.
Now, just before we forget it, if you want to give your telephone number and your website thing.
Certainly. My telephone number is 978-388-8136, and my email address is LaRue K, and that's LARUEK at AmesburyMA, all one word, .gov. And if you come into my office, and either myself or Harry, we can make an appointment for you. I like to schedule appointments with folks. I try meeting with people just on the cuff. That's fine, but I really like to be able to sit down and focus.
Because I remember the times we were going to shoot, it was like, okay, what time's available? Okay, what can you
I try to fit everybody in, but it's very helpful to be as organized as possible. But I also understand that's not realistic, all the time. Sometimes people, they work crazy schedules, but I will work with you. I will.
Yeah, hours too. You're always available.
Thank you.
9 to 5, I mean.
I am here. Yes, I am here. Well, kind of either myself or Harry. I do my outreach primarily in the morning, so I usually come in the office around 8:30. But Harry will open at 8, and the office is staffed usually, unless I have to go out on an emergency.
And
most
Fridays
of the hours.
Fridays a half day.
Fridays are half
They
days.
can still call you and leave a message.
Certainly, I would be happy to. I work very hard to return messages right away, because I understand that can be frustrating.
You're running all the time.
Yes, I am.
I wouldn't expect less from you, though. Is there anything else you want to add to it? Don't take your time. I'll make sure I give you guys as much information as possible.
Really, any questions, just please call me. Even if you aren't sure if you qualify as a veteran, or if you're not sure if your finances are over the limit, just give me a call, because quite often I can expense medical expenses, and I can really work some magic in here to get the services where they need to be. And
you definitely I want to get the feeling that what they may hear on TV or see other places is not what's happening in Amesbury. I mean, you're making a big effort, and everybody around here is to make sure that they're rewarded for what they did.
Certainly, we definitely put our effort forward, and we have a lot of dedicated folks working together to make veterans and their family members comfortable and improve their quality of life. And
that's a message I really want to get out there.
Good. Definitely.
Very nice meeting you.
It was great to meet you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you.
That's it. Please use everything that's available here, and we're on to the next segment. Bye-bye. We're here at Our Neighbor's Table with Director Rosemary Werner. How you doing, Rosemary?
Nice to see you again, Larry. We're caught up again another year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have any updates for us?
Yes, I do. Well, Easter is coming up, and as you know, that's a big holiday time for us and for the people that we have here, and we're very busy with that. We're doing almost 600 Easter baskets this year.
Last year was like 500.
And last year was 5. So this year, and they will be distributed to the Women's Crisis Center, Pettingill House, Community Action, the Anna Jake Psychiatric Unit for Children, last year we gave them 12 as well. So, and also to the children that come here, and also to some of the schools. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm excited about the generosity of the people that helps to fill those baskets. It's a huge undertaking.
Yeah.
So it's great. Plus, the Easter Bunny's coming.
Okay, yeah.
He's going to be here at about 3:30, just in time to give the baskets out. And also, we're going to have a gentleman here, Mr. D, that will do balloon configurations.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They twist the balloons into shapes. He's coming as well.
A couple times before?
Yes, he was here one time before,
Yeah.
so that's fun.
Yeah.
For the adults as well. And then, of course, we have the police and fire department and Mayor Thatcher, and we have help from the Newburyport 5, who's been a tremendous sponsor of us, and also from the Provident, who have been with us from the beginning.
Yep.
So we're excited about that. And they, in turn, have also helped us collect stuff for the baskets. So it's a great help. We have so many people helping with the baskets this year that I'm really encouraged by the
That's
generosity. Nice. And I feel that, it's marvelous to have that many people stand with you to help you get this sort of thing done. So we couldn't do it without them, of course.
And last year was really pretty. I mean,
it was
so many,
marvelous.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? It was a lot of fun doing them. I know it's a lot of work. I don't disavow that. But it is a lot of fun. And we've heard,
right.
Well, actually, Palm Sunday is when we start putting them together. Yeah. And then the police...
Remember, Palm Sunday.
Yeah, and then the police will start delivering them Monday for me, and then we'll get the deliveries made to the appropriate places. And then, of course, Wednesday we'll give them out to our own kids. So it's a lot of fun, and we have people signing up for Easter dinners, ham or a chicken, plus all the trimmings. And this year... Restaurante Molisi, Antoinette is going to donate a lot of milk for us again, so we can give everybody a half a gallon of milk, and I'm really excited about that. They're very generous.
That is nice.
So we have a lot of things going on. And then Fat Cat's restaurant in town, up in Market Street, and Paul called me because they wanted to do help, but they both work there and and are very busy with the business. But what they want to do is on Monday nights they want to do they're open for dinner on Monday night, and they want to do a percentage of the meals to go to our neighbor's table. So that's terribly generous of them, and I'm hoping that people will come out on a Monday night and help support us that way, and I think it's a lovely thing for them to do. So
it's great.
Yeah, they're so generous. So I'm really excited about that. And then in May we're going into the Hunger on the Hill. There's a big get together to talk to our legislators about the in Boston at the State House, and hopefully the governor will be there. And some of our guests made up some signs that I have, and we're going to bring them in.
This will be part of All Massachusetts.
Yes, we. The talk is that the budget, on the MFAP bill. The increases are needed because of the cost and of the increase in food that is being requested by people. And it's a very, it really is very simple in a lot of ways, that the demand is up for food, as you know, and as everybody is aware. They've done this. And of course the cost of food is up, so you're buying less for your dollar, but the demand is gone up so much. And actually we're seeing, they've called it, I found it interesting, they've called it like we're seeing the second wave of people now coming to us, and unfortunately some of them were people that donated to us before. And that's,
not to get too far off here, but on CNN I saw a special, hope I can use CNN, they were talking about that some people, one of the saddest calls a director had to say was that when a person that used to donate had to call up and say that
they needed
help.
Yeah. And it's very sad. But, I tell people that, there's nothing wrong with asking for help, and that's how they need to look at it, that we're here and we're glad we can be here to help you. And so that's what we do. That's why we're here. And
again, you're trained, not to pat you on the back or anything, but you're trained, you're used to what's coming down the pike, the form.
Yeah, and I think that, people should, I think there are times when you have to put things aside and do what you have to do. And that's one of the things that we've always believed, that if we can help you with food, then the money that you would normally spend on that, you can now apply that to another bill that might be pressing, so that it alleviates, $30 on a weekly basis. And the other thing is that we encourage people to come in and sign up to our USDA program, which is a wonderful program.
Yeah.
And we're also very thrilled because I just spoke with Andre and up at the farm, up at Heron Pond Farm on 107.
Yeah.
And they just gave us 800 pounds of potatoes this morning and told us that they'd be more than happy to keep donating to us all year, and they're going to plant a row for poverty, which I think is a fabulous thing. Yeah. So we'll be the recipient of their fresh vegetables, and of course, and the other exciting thing is June, July, August, and September. During those 4 months, we're going to have a demonstration outside in the food pantry building, and we're going to have tables set up, and we're going to have famous chefs come and give, and the thing is that they have to utilize what we have in the pantry. So that will be.
Well, that's very creative because it would help.
I think it is. I think it is. So the first thing we're going to do in June is we're going to do barbecue chicken on the grill, and the fire department is going to cook it with a marinade and that the chef will put together.
Oh, wow.
And then we will keep it, so that you can say this is not something terribly complicated, but utilize what you have. That's
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does. So, and then every month into September, we're going to have somebody come. We're going to have Francis from the Powell River Grill.
Oh, yeah.
He's very talented. They all are. Then we're going to have somebody from Ron Boucher's School of Cooking in Southampton. He's going to send down one of his chefs, and then we're going to have others come. So I think it will be fun as well as creative, and I also think it will be, I want people to say, I never thought that I could do that, and that's easy.
What it's about,
So I'm excited about that.
Did you come up with that idea?
Well, I did. Once in a while, I get an idea. Once in a while.
Speaking of ideas, can you show?
Yes. Well, one of the things that I thought about doing for a while was getting everybody in Amesbury together, the Amesbury Community Service Providers group. And we met, and it was astonishing. We had 24 people sitting around the table, and some of them people that, I really didn't know or knew just by name. And I was fascinated because we got to know what we're all doing, and now we decided that we're meeting on a monthly basis, and we're sharing problems. But more importantly, we're also sharing solutions. So I'm really pleased.
Is it all around food?
No, it's all different services, because we're not limited to people that walk in here, Larry, that just need food. We often have people that need other services. So it's marvelous that we have this book, and we can open this book, and they have tabs on them, and we can go to whoever it is that needs help. And we now have a face to go with the phone number and call them and say, for instance, Pamela Brown, if it's something to do with a senior, then Pamela would be the one I would call. If it's something to do with a veteran, I would call Kristen. Something to do with the Christmas program, I would call Raylene.
And that has a regular telephone number?
Yes, and we have a listing in each book. These have been made up so that we're giving one of these books to every member of this committee tomorrow.
Okay.
Not tomorrow, Thursday. We have our meeting. And so they will just keep the book in their office. And then if they have a question about a service, they'll go to the book, flip it.
Oh, excellent.
And also we have one for the mayor's office, because we want to make sure, and one for the police and fire department, because sometimes they do. I mean, I think when the police have to know an incredible amount of of information that has sometimes nothing to do with that. You'll have to excuse me. So, they do need to know an awful lot of information, not just about police and procedures and everything, but they get so many calls about so many other things. I think we forget.
Oh, yeah.
And so this will also be, I think, valuable for a lot of people. And I'm really excited that we sat down, and this is our third meeting, Thursday it will be. And I have gotten to know people and feel so comfortable picking the phone up and saying, look, can you help us with this?
Yeah.
We have this kind of a problem, and I'm wondering if it's something. And I think not only that, but for one of the agencies like the Pregnancy Care Center, it was good
Where
for
is
us. It's across from the library. It's held in the church there.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think it's good for us to have a listing of what they provide and what they don't provide, because I think that's important as well. Instead of instead of I think it's important to list what they do and what they don't do, so that you can go on to the next step if you need to.
That way you're not calling other people going to the list.
Yeah. So we decided that we would each do a listing of everything that we provide within our organization. We would put it into each of the books, and that way every person in town that belongs to this has a full, a complete book with every listing.
And going from the same information.
Yeah, and we're all reading off the same page, which I think is great. And so, I think it's very beneficial. I think that it'll help us all. And, I'm very concerned because I'm very conscious of resources shrinking. And I feel that in town and in the state and in the country, we need to not duplicate services. Mm-hmm. We need to work smarter because there's less resources.
Save the resources.
And I think that is, all of us have to think that way.
Yeah.
And I think that when you don't, the only people that will do well in this sort of an economy that is really worldwide are people that will regroup and not divide resources and not have 14 different places doing the same thing. I think that we have to be smarter. And I think people have to be brave and say, you know what, that's already being done.
Well, it goes back to having a solid base.
Yes.
With anything you do.
Yes.
It's a very simple philosophy, but a very biggest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel that, I feel that, I really love this town and the people. And I think that right now this whole country is going through a really tough time. But I really want us to be positive. And I think anybody that can do anything to help things get better, we should do it. We should not work the problem. We should not let the problems work us.
Right.
We need to work the problem.
Yeah.
And I think together we can do that.
Oh, I believe that. We're very strong.
It's a matter of, if you see litter on the street, pick it up. For years, my husband snowblowed our driveway, and then he went out and he went to the end of our street and snowblowed out the fire hydrant because it was the thing to do.
I shovel a manhole cover in front of my mother's little drain pipe there. Yeah.
I just think that those are things that people did and we need to do, and, to help the town in any way we can and be a good citizen of this town.
Yeah, it takes
how
do you say, a village?
Takes a village, yeah. Boy, does it ever. More than ever, it takes a village now.
Do you want to give out any numbers or stuff like that before we close?
Well, I think we'll see record numbers for this year. And unfortunately, and I think every place we've gone to meetings, they've said the same thing. They're up between 20 and 30%. corporate donations are down,
yeah.
because of the losses that larger companies are suffering. So it is truly scary, and some people are telling us that we need to be looking at 2 years of this now. I am not an economist, and I cannot tell you,
same way I'm thinking.
you know, how that, if that's true or not, but I do think more than ever we need to work together.
You have to trust the people who do know what they're doing.
Yes,
yeah. Work around that.
Yeah, I do believe that. But anyway, so we're just perking along here, and we're doing all we can and the best we can. So we're so grateful for all of the support that we get from this town. I've always thought that the people in Amesbury always they get it.
I think we do, and I also think that it's like a fire drill. I think we have practice,
yes.
and we work well together.
Yeah.
And I don't say hopefully, because I know it will happen as things get tighter. We kind of know our rules.
Yes.
And we have the same agenda to get it done. Yeah.
Yeah, so. And I think people do step forward. But I've been really pleased with this group that we started talking and sharing, and I think that it's so important now more than ever that we do this. And I think it'll
the first step
work. I think it will work really well. I think it's so interesting because it's what we should do. It's, you know what I mean? It's what we should be doing. It's like, this is not.
And make sure you use a Channel 12 bulletin board to get it out there seriously, so that people can, can see it. At least they get an idea where to call.
And we've been really lucky. We had a new volunteer that came on board. Her name is Connie Reagan, and Connie is just such a firecracker. You know, she put all of these together and helped us tabulate and correlate and do all of that. So, like, she's just been great. And in fact, she's been helping us too with we're having a sex offender awareness seminar.
That's what I was going to get into. I'm not sure how much time we're going to have, so we're going to try to talk about it.
Yeah.
Probably briefly, anyway.
Okay, well, we're doing 2 seminars. Detective Robert Weil is going to do them for us. March 27th at the Newburyport 5 Community Room, and you do have to pre-register for this seminar. But it's a 2-hour seminar, and it's the different laws and rules of people, what we're supposed to do and what the law requires us to do and what we should do to protect children and to also, handle things the best way. And my whole thing was that we need to know this before there's a problem.
Yeah.
Let's be proactive. Let's not wait until there is this.
And there's more agencies that use different types of people, so that's what the problem comes up with.
Yeah, and it is unfortunately it is a problem if you just have to turn on the TV and more you do hear that.
You said there'd be 2 seminars?
Yes, the other one is April 27th, and there still is openings for that. You do need to pre-register for them, so you can either email our neighbor's table at verizon.net, or you can call our office at 978-388-1907 and register. Did I get it all in?
I think so. Okay, so that's it for today, but we will be back again. Probably let's see, this is April. We'll be back in April. We can do that, right? With some new news and updates and stuff?
Yes, absolutely. Always glad to see you.
Oh, that's glad to see you, Rosie.
Always glad to see you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. And we're going for one more segment. Bye-bye from our neighbor's table.